Hey, what's going on? You know who it is, you know what it is. All right, you guys, man, it was time to do this video based off what happened yesterday with the Golden State Warriors. Now, I said if the Warriors was able to tie or at least break this record, it makes the so-called mythical, nostalgic myth of Michael Jordan being the greatest player of all time look very arguable. Well, I thought it was very arguable in the first place. And in this video, I'm going to tell you why. One of the good things about social media, what we have today, you can form your own opinion, no matter how stupid it is, or how factual it is, or whatever, or how borderline true and non-factual it is. You have an opinion, and the thing that always pissed me off is you had the media, you know, people like Skip Bayless, Stephen A. Smith, Michael Wilbon, other people saying, oh, Michael Jordan's the greatest of all time. David Stern saying that he's the greatest, and some former players saying that he's the greatest of all time. First of all, keep in mind these guys work for the NBA. They have to do what these people say to a certain degree, or possibly, they could suffer the consequences. Like, when it's time to sign with another team, let's just say they're not, they on the downside of their career, or let's just say they not as popular as they used to be, they can have trouble. The powers that be can make sure they don't get signed with another team, or let's just say that they have endorsement with Nike. Nike may not re-sign them to another endorsement contract. That type of shit. Remember, it's politics and everything. And I'll get to Nike in a second. I'll say this much about Jordan: he was the greatest salesman, the greatest marketer as far as sports ever went. Now, I'll tell you why Nike puts on boxes that he was the greatest player that ever lived. First of all, here's some facts. Nike was on its way to going out of business. They wasn't making that much money. They wasn't selling kicks like that. They just didn't have, as what they say, that guy. They signed Michael Jordan and he turned things around, and that's why Nike returns the favor by saying he's the greatest player of all time. You know, that company was about to go out of business. Michael Jordan saved that company from going out of business. The Jordan brand alone saved that company. Now, as far as Michael Jordan as a player, his numbers, yes, his stats say yes, he is an all-time great. He's a legend. But to say he's better than everybody that ever played, that's disputable. And I could prove it. Okay. Did Michael Jordan ever score 100 points in a game or more than 100 points? No. His career high, I think, was 63. It's between 61 and 63. That's the most he's ever scored in a playoff game or a regular NBA regular season game. Kobe Bryant scored 81 in a game. David Robinson scored, I think, 72 in a game. So you had, and Will Chamberlain scored 100. So you have three people ahead of him as far as all-time points scored in a game. Now, and all three of these guys that I named is in the NBA Hall of Fame. And they made the NBA top 50 greatest players list. Now, does he hold the all-time scoring record for the most points ever scored by an NBA player? No. That record belongs to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And it looks like that record is not going to be broke. Yes, Jordan retired twice. So, I mean, I think he could have got close to it. But you never know. He might have got injured again. That's another reason why he kept retiring. He wanted to keep his legs intact. Kareem played for 20 seasons. Kobe Bryant played for 20 seasons and he still couldn't catch it. So keep that in mind. Now, how many championships did he win? He won 6 championships. Okay, that's great. But Bill Russell won 11 championships and won as a player coach. So that doesn't make him the greatest winner ever. The greatest winner ever is Bill Russell. But you guys talk about it's all about the rings. Well, like I said, Bill Russell won 11. 11. Keep in mind, 11 championships. One for each finger plus one. So, okay. Yes, he was a multiple time MVP. I think he won the MVP 5 times, maybe. But LeBron has won it 4 times. Um, Kareem won it like 5 times. Okay, so that's great. Now I know you guys gonna say, well, Michael Jordan had a will to win. Well, who didn't have a will to win? Well, Michael Jordan made clutch shots. Well, there's a lot of people that made clutch shots, buzzer beaters. John Stockton made a buzzer beater to advance Utah to the NBA Finals to play the Chicago Bulls. They ended up losing, but hey, he made a buzzer beater. Kobe Bryant has made several buzzer beaters. Steph Curry has made a couple of buzzer beaters in his time. Vince Carter has made buzzer beaters. You know, like I said, who didn't have a will to win? Kareem had a will to win. Magic Johnson had a will to win. Larry Bird had a will to win. Rick Barry had a will to win. They all did. What happened was Michael Jordan, he took the game to a new level. His style of play, the fancy dunks, the swagger. And then not to mention, he pretty much gave everything to the NBA. He pretty much flat out did whatever the NBA told him to do. Ultimate company man. Just be quiet. Don't speak out against nothing controversial. Don't say nothing. Don't speak on it. Don't have no opinion on it. He did. He did exactly what they told him to do. So they rewarded him with all these accolades. That was what he got in return. They made him out to be the greatest NBA player ever, which I don't think he's the greatest NBA player ever. I mean, he was, like I said, he was very exciting to watch on the court. I mean, when they was playing on TBS and TNT and that Chicago network, if I knew they was coming on, I'd go home and watch Michael Jordan play. He was fun to watch play. You can't take that away from him. But everybody was fun to watch play. Allen Iverson was fun to watch play. Stephen Curry is fun to watch play. Kobe Bryant was fun to watch play. See what I mean? It's really not that big of a difference. They just took somebody and they just put him on a high pedestal. And he was marketed very well. And like I said, one of the reasons why he was marketed very well, he wanted another reason he wanted to take some of the fear as far as the NBA go out of dark skinned black men. Yes, that played a role in it too. They wanted to portray him as harmless. That's why they told that dude don't ever speak up on nothing of importance. Don't speak up on politics. Don't speak up on shit that's going on in the black community. And he did it. And unfortunately, that changed Michael Jordan's personality as a man because when you met him outside of basketball, well, he wasn't the greatest person in the world. It's kind of funny, he didn't want to take a picture with Chameleonaire, but he takes a picture with Macklemore. You know, go figure, huh? And I think that's a shame that man sold his soul for fame, fortune, and notoriety. And then another thing, Michael Jordan didn't save the game. Larry Bird and Magic Johnson saved the game. Back in the day, the NBA used to be on tape delay. Those championship series, it was because of the rivalry with Magic Johnson, the Lakers, and the Celtics. And I'm sure Tito Garcia can verify this, that those two were the ones that saved the game because the NBA was on the verge of possibly going out of business. Now, when Michael Jordan came along, he elevated, he made it the global, he made it the global entity that it is today. Now, he did do that, but he had the right people surrounding him. Now, like I said, these are facts. All this shit can be researched, man. Michael Jordan did not save the damn game. All that's been going on is for the last 20 years, you got these people telling you that Michael Jordan is the greatest and you have to accept it. No, you don't. I've never thought Michael Jordan was the greatest basketball player that I ever saw. And I don't like the idea of the media trying to force feed that down your throat and trying to brainwash you, because a lot of this shit was mostly brainwashing. You really didn't have an outlet until YouTube and social media came along. You just had to say, oh, yeah, yeah. And like I said, a lot of this shit is brainwashing. Just like they used to try to brainwash you into believing that Muhammad Ali was the greatest boxer that ever lived. Well, I say bullshit. I don't think Muhammad Ali is the greatest fighter ever. He's one of the greatest. Like I said, Muhammad Ali was a sensational fighter. But for everybody to just say, well, Muhammad Ali is the greatest ever, he's better than everybody that ever fought, that's complete bullshit. Because I could critique Muhammad Ali's career. I could go down, you know, some of the people he fought and when did he fight him and all that type of shit. Because you can critique every boxer's career. It's always a niche in every boxer's career. No boxer ever had the perfect record. And there's no such thing, and I'm going to tell you right now in boxing, there's no such thing as fighting everybody. You can't fight everybody. Well, I guess if you fought in the early 1900s, but then again, most of those dudes that the what you would call the upper echelons of boxers, they fought a lot of bombs. So let's just cut the shit on that. But getting back to Michael Jordan, like I said, a lot of this was brainwashing. Remember, that's what they do on TV. Their ideal is to try to brainwash you and get you to believe a lot of propaganda. And this Michael Jordan shit has been mostly propaganda and brainwashing. It's like this. If you guys think LeBron James is the greatest that you ever saw, that's your opinion. If you think Stephen Curry right now might be the greatest that you ever saw, that's fine. If you think Larry Bird is the greatest player that ever lived, that's fine. If you think Magic Johnson is the greatest player that ever lived, that's fine. If you think Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the greatest basketball player that ever lived, that's fine. If you think Bill Russell is the greatest basketball player you ever saw, that's fine. It does not have to be MJ, you know, because like I said, his numbers say otherwise. He's not number one in any of the most meaningful categories to support that he's the greatest. He's not number one in scoring. He's not number one in winning championships. So, yes, he never lost the finals, but he never went to 12 of them or 13 of them like Bill Russell did neither, because you never know how one of those finals might have turned out. You gotta admit, he kept quitting. He kept retiring. I think eventually some team might have found a way to beat them. But anyway, that's all I got to say about that. I'll take the comments. I'm out.